Hi folks, I'm Jason.
I'm Aiden.
And here we are again at Northern Path Family Farm. We thought we'd post another video of some of the happenings that we have going on here in early fall 2015. We just completed a brand new cool project, a garden shed, didn't we, Aiden?
We sure did.
So that's something neat and interesting that we'll post. And then we're in the midst of harvesting some of the crops that we planted earlier this spring that have been growing all summer, and so now it's harvest time. And we thought that we'd share that with you. So enjoy the video. Okay, so we began construction of the new garden shed in early August, and within the first weekend we had the footers dug and then backfilled with gravel, and on top of that we then built the 8x12 floor frame. After checking and double checking that everything was level after that, we began construction of the wall frames, and after those were in place and then checked again for square, the next step was to install the roof rafters. And then after that it was time to get up on top, start installing the roof sheathing, the tar paper, and then eventually the shingles. Trust me, I'm not a big fan of heights, and the sooner this part of the job was complete, the faster I could then get back to working from ground level. Overall, it took us about 3 weeks to complete the shed, and we're very pleased with the way it turned out. We did spend a little extra time on the exterior trim work just to give it a bit of an aesthetic appeal, so it should serve us well for many years to come. So here on the farm, we're always working towards the goal of minimizing as much as possible the time and the labor that we expend on all the activities that are necessary to keep a smooth running homestead. So we're always thinking of creative ways to improve on those efficiencies where we can. Of all the things that we do throughout the year here on the farm, without question, it's the vegetable garden and the wood yard that require the most from us from a time and labor standpoint. And until now, all of the tools, all of the materials that we would need to conduct those activities in the garden, in the wood yard, were both housed in separate outbuildings on the west side of the property, a good distance away from where the garden and the wood yard were located. And obviously to haul these tools and materials back and forth was a waste of energy. I mean, we would do this numerous times per day, and all of that energy obviously could be redirected elsewhere if it was designed properly. So more specifically in the case of our shed, as part of the site analysis, we determined that the most ideal location would be in between the annual vegetable garden and the wood yard. So that would serve to optimize our efficiencies for time and labor spent in both locations and facilitate the ease of access of all the tools and the wood cutting tools and materials. It's a time and labor savings, of course, that we welcome on the farm to allow us to partake in some of the other off-farm leisure activities that we also enjoy. Also ranking very high on the list of labor-intensive activities on the farm here is the maintenance of our newly established fruit and nut orchard. So we will use a lot of compost. Compost as a natural fertilizer for our orchard, as well as for our annual vegetable garden. So we make many cubic yards of compost during the season. And you can see here we use a thermometer inserted into the pile just to monitor the temperature to make sure it doesn't overheat. We also, in addition to using compost, will use a lot of living mulches such as comfrey and other nitrogen-fixing plants. What we're doing today is we're cutting down some hairy vetch that is a nitrogen-fixing plant. Hairy vetch will fix nitrogen from both the soil and the atmosphere via its root nodules, and then the entire plant body will hold nitrogen into these bean pods that you'll see here. So it's a legume, and when we use this as a mulch, the breakdown of the vetch over time will then make some of its stored nitrogen bioavailable for some of the plants on the ground level. So we'll use this hairy vetch in the orchard, and the issue that we're attacking today is the fact that some of the cages that we've used in the beginning when we planted these trees, the trees have now outgrown these cages. It's causing stress on the leaves, and we want to remove these and make sure there's plenty of room for the tree to grow. So we'll migrate to a larger cage that we've put together here, and again, this is very labor intensive early on in the establishment phase of the orchard, and this kind of work is required. In addition, we really need to be critically aware of some of the weeds and the grasses. They're very aggressive, and what they'll do is they'll overtake the tree and then rob the tree of some of the nutrients that are in the soil. So we really want to make sure that we're keeping the tree free of the weeds and grasses. So we'll apply this mulch, this vetch mulch, and then we'll put the cage over around the tree. And again, this is to really prevent a lot of the deer browse. We've had trees that have just been knocked to the ground overnight if they weren't protected. So we'll stake down these cages, and it does a very good job. I mean, we have, as you can see here, deer almost every day that we observe on the property roaming through the orchard. They're taking advantage of the succulent grasses and leaving our trees alone. Here's an example of a persimmon tree. We planted this earlier this year. It's doing very, very well, very vigorous in its growth. Black locust is another tree that this year we actually propagated from seed, and so we're really proud of the results that we've seen thus far with these trees, and we really look forward to seeing the results next year of some of these trees and some of the continued growth.
So, you see me and my dad picking corn. We had a great harvest this year. We had Bloody Butcher, and then we had blue corn, and then here you can see me picking some blue corn off. Yeah, we can either feed some to our animals or eat them ourselves. So it was pretty fun picking corn. And here we actually found a frog in a corn stalk, which is weird. And here are some pumpkins. Here's an example. We are picking pumpkins, and then we pick amaranth. There's me just inspecting the amaranth. And me and my dad were also picking apples, and we had a great harvest of apples too. So thanks for watching.
So there you have it, folks. We got a lot of things going on at the farm. We're staying busy as usual, and we appreciate all your support, and thanks again for checking in. We still have turkeys available for prior to Thanksgiving in November that will be processed and ready. If you're interested, give us a call. Feel free to contact us on our website or call us direct. Any last departing words before we end the video, Aiden?
Well, if you want to check out our eggs, please let me know.
Well, there you have it, folks. Thanks again for checking in, and we'll see you on our next video.